Alrighty, y'all. So obviously it's time that your boy does the video everybody wants to know. Should you summon for EIN? It's quite difficult because she's actually not a bad character, which is something that we obviously I want to say we've gotten not that many bad characters as of late, but we've definitely had a period where it's just like back to back dead characters and stuff like that. Right now, obviously, as you guys see, headphones broke, which is unfortunate because these were like $40 and they broke because I threw them on my bed, which is so silly. But what do we do about it, right? Get new ones, I guess. But yeah, so obviously EIN is going to be the character that comes out tomorrow. She comes out tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. EST. I will be live for her and like summoning for her and testing her out early in the morning. So if you guys do want to come through, you can. I will not be live at 11 o'clock tomorrow. I'll be live at 5 a.m. or I guess 4 something, like 4:30 maybe. I'll be live at around that time testing her out, and that's the live stream for tomorrow, right? So obviously let's talk about her and if she should summon, right? Because she's not coming alone, she's actually coming with reruns. Now I'm not going to talk all about if you should be summoning for Anise and Helm because that's a separate video completely, right? I mean, I guess I could talk about in this video, but I don't want to. Right? So when it comes to EIN, obviously she is quite the unique character, right? She has a new effect, which is Near Feather. And Near Feather, I'm assuming, is just like it looks like from what we broke down yesterday on stream. It seems like Near Feather is just going to be like a damage, like additional damage, if that makes sense, right? So if you guys read it, it says summon for Near Feather. Now on the actual screen, you don't see any like of those flying machines, these robot things of hers, right, that you've seen in her like little animations. You don't see any of those flying around until you use the burst skill. So you won't actually see Near Feathers flying around until you use her burst skill, right? But I'm assuming Near Feather is just like a buff in terms of what you're doing with her normal attack, right? Because if you guys read her second skill here, it says activates when Near Feather is summoned, right? Affects one. I can't keep doing this with my headphones, bro. I don't care. It says activates when Near Feather is summoned. Affects one random enemy. Near Feather attack deals 90% final attack as true damage. Now when you were looking at the gameplay, right, when you look at the gameplay, they don't have anything here. Let me see if I can mute it for you guys real quick, right? They don't actually have anything here that shows before the burst skill. There's nothing here that shows like, you know, Near Feather proccing, like that second skill that they just said about the 90%. There's nothing here about that proccing, right? It looks like there's a rocket launcher here. You guys can't see because my webcam, but that's just from another character, it seems like, right? My thing is there's nothing here that indicates that, right? Well, I guess, yeah, no, there's nothing here that indicates that. So what I want to believe is that 90% is going on top of your normal attack. That's the only thing that would make sense because there's no visual effects of further shot proccing, right? There's literally no visual effects of obviously Near Feather proccing, right? So if it says Near Feather attacks deals damage, right, and it doesn't say like every 10 seconds or every 5 seconds, or it doesn't say anything like that, right, it makes me believe that Near Feather attack is going to be a part of your normal attack damage, right? If that was the, I mean, I just, it kind of makes sense if that's the case because charge damage is like something that's quite important here. Why would they be giving her a charge damage buff if it didn't have anything to do with Near Feather, right? They don't just give charge damage buffs to snipers because they're snipers, right? Not all of them get it, right? Unless they're like a massive DPS. In this girl's case, it seems like if it's not from, it's literally her damage should be coming from all her buffs and the Near Feather, right? So it says at the start of battle activates self, you know, summons 4 Near Feathers, right? There's nothing in the game that's actually like doing damage, right? Then it says when activates when Near Feather is summoned, right? So the moment this is summoned, if we have 4 off and it's summoned, either it's doing damage over time and we just cannot see it because they're not showing any numbers, or it's with your normal attacks, right? One thing is when you use a full charge though, you notice that look, none of these full feathers or these Near Feathers, none of them disappear. So it doesn't make me believe that it's like Near Feather, one Near Feather costs you any of them, right? It's like you just have 4 permanently, and then when you use the burst skill, it goes up to a total of 6, right? So I'm just going to believe right now. Obviously, I cannot know until I test it, but I will believe that Near Feather is going to be something that has to do with her normal attack or just essentially additional damage. Either way, whatever it is, this is still crazy because it says Near Feather attack deals 90% of final attack as true damage. damage, right? Maybe near feather is on the screen and we just can't see it because it's not full screen or some shit. I don't know. But it says near feather attack deals 90% final attack as true damage. That's already crazy because you get 4, right? If you get 4 near feathers, that's quite crazy, right? 90% times 4 is quite crazy. The final attack is damage, not to mention every full burst you're getting a 70% attack buff, and then when you use her burst skill you get 55% true damage, which is based off true damage, insane charge damage, and then like charge damage from her second and her burst skill. And again, if near feather is a part of her normal attack, that charge damage will be applied on top of all that extra stuff. It's quite the crazy character in reality, right? The only thing is we can never say what is happening with near feather because it's a new effect. I feel like when they do these and they bring like a new type of effect, they should like write down somewhere here what near feather is. One thing is about Nikke, they don't ever do that, so we literally have no idea what near feather actually is doing until the actually comes out in the game. So obviously by that point everyone is going to either already be summoning or asking should you be summoning, right? So I would say summon. I mean, okay, now no, let me answer that question. Should you summon? After all that little ranting and kind of explaining what I'm thinking, right? This is a character that is not a limited character. I know she's rerunning with limited characters, but she's not a limited character. Now I could tell you guys just skip her and put her on your wish list, but I do think this character is going to be quite decent and pretty good at damage, probably a very, very crazy DPS actually. I can see her being quite important for the new content as well, the new boss content, right? One thing is that obviously it seems like they're trying to push these metas, the sustained damage meta and true damage meta, and I feel like they're not just doing that for any reason. I feel like that has to do with the new interception mode, right? So obviously that's just speculation, so I cannot tell you guys summon for this character because of that, but I would say this is not a character you have to worry about. There are 2 other banners that are limited, and it's obviously limiteds are characters that you would have to wait a very long time for. This is a character that you can get anytime on the wish list. Now the one thing is, wish list doesn't guarantee this character. Wishlist doesn't guarantee you this character. That's the one thing you guys gotta understand. At least through her banner, you have rate up, you have a higher chance of getting her, and you can actually guarantee get her with golden tickets. Wishlist just means that you have a chance of pulling her as if you were to summon on any other banner. That's why I don't really like saying, oh, because they're standard banner, like, because if everybody was just on the wish list, like if everyone can just go on the wish list and it was that easy to get them, I would tell you guys to skip every single banner in, like, until they come on the wish list, right? And just save your currency for pilgrims unlimiteds, right? But for this character, she might be pretty decent. Now I do think if you are going to summon for this girl, you should probably start focusing on building up Freema's favorite item, right? You probably want to have Clay as well. The Clay I wouldn't say is necessary, because if this character does insane damage regardless if you have Freema and them on the team or not, I do think she could replace some characters on your main team, right? Like for example, if I find out she hits harder than my Scarlet, then I'm gonna put her on the team over Scarlet, right? Because I like this character a lot, and then she's actually very, very strong. Obviously I expect most people to probably start building a true damage team, because it would kind of be a waste to like put her on the team and replace Scarlet if the true damage team exists and clearly seems to be good, right? You already have Laplace, who's a broken DPS. Now you have EIN, who's probably a broken DPS. You have Freema, who's a massive true damage buffer to both of those two. You have Clay, who's a true damage buffer to both of these two, right? So you already have your burst 1, a burst 2, and then 2 other burst 2s. Heck, you can actually put Crown on that same team as well, because Clay is on a 40-second cooldown, right? The only thing is you don't even have to run Clay, because another thing is, remember, she's an electric character, so by, you know, because she's an electric character, she automatically gets a buff from everyone's favorite Summer Anise. Anytime you enter a full burst, all electrical allies get an attack buff and then reload speed buff on top of this character already giving herself 70%. It's like you gotta know what you're trying to build here, but there's a lot of different team comps. She can either go on the main team if she is going to hit very hard. You can put her with Summer Anise since she's an electric character, or you can start building a true damage team. So she has a lot of different options there for your team. So I would say summon for her if you are, you know, deciding, or if you do decide you want to start building one of those teams. If not, then by all means just save it right? Just save and you can pull her later on the wish list. But I would say it is always better to get the characters on their initial banner than the wish list, just because you have a easier chance of getting them realistically, right? I remember, y'all, I had Yan on my wish list for a whole year. It took me a year to get her. The wish list does not mean you have a better chance of getting the character. It just means she's one out of the 15 plus the pilgrim characters that you are able to get if you do end up getting them, right? So it's not like you're not gonna get her, but it's also like, don't expect because it's a wish list you're guaranteed her, right? That's not how it works. That's the reality of it. So hey, I would say summon if you are looking forward to one of those 3 teams that I mentioned. There's probably more, but those are like the 3 ones that are like outstanding, that or I guess I want to say more common and understandable to understand, if that makes sense. But besides that, if not, then just skip, right? Realistically, if you don't need another DPS, then you don't need to summon for this character right now, right? I am going to summon for her because I refuse to believe they're dropping this true damage and also sustained damage meta for no reason. I think it's going to cater to the new content, but we'll have to see, right? Especially if they do make it like element based. Imagine having this electric code character on a electric code element based boss for the new content, right? You're probably going to want to have this character with Summer Anise and Scarlet, right? Scarlet, Summer Anise, this girl all go crazy, right? I mean, I guess you would have to pick one of the 3 though, or 2 of the 3, but yeah, you guys let me know. It's your boy Zxous. I do think you should summon for her if you're gonna go for those teams. If not, then just skip. That's really it. You guys let me know what you think. It's your boy Zxous, and I'm out. Peace.